Good morning all. I am Dr. Gayathri NS, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, working in SNS College of Engineering. Today I am going to share about synthesis of nanomaterials. There are two methods, top down and bottom up. First we are going to see about top down and bottom up difference. In nanotechnology is in designing, developing or manipulating at nanometer scale. It is dealing with the size which should be less than 100 nanometers, at least in one dimensional, to call something to be nanotechnology. There are two design approaches, that is top down and bottom up. Both approaches are very useful in different applications. Next we move on to the synthesis of nanomaterials, that is top down. A bulk material is converted to fragments and to nanostructure scale, and the clusters from the atoms move on to clusters and to nanoscale materials. This is bottom up. And the top down approach, we see the bulk transformed to the powder and to the multi-layer monolayer nanoscale materials. And bottom up approach, combining of the small atoms, the formation of ions or radicals or electrons, and to the condensation and formation of clusters. The clusters must be in the nanoscale size. In the bulk material to the nanoscale. In the top down approach, mechanical milling, etching, laser ablation, sputtering, electro explosion. And the bottom up, supercritical fluid synthesis, spinning, sol gel process, laser pyrolysis, CVD, that is chemical vapor deposition, molecular condensation, chemical reduction, and green synthesis. Top down approach, it begins with a pattern that generated on a large scale and reduced it to nanoscale. Relatively it is very expensive and also time consuming too. The approach is very useful for microscopic major level explosion. The structure can be extremely controlled in the processing of nanostructures. In the top down approach, the nanoscale objects are made by processing larger objects in size. The starting material in these fabrications are relatively large structures such as silicon crystals. Lithography is a technology which has enabled making such tiny chips, and there are many types of them such as photo, electrobeam, ion beam lithography, and all. In some applications, larger scale materials are grinded to the nanometer scale to increase the surface area to volume ratio for more reactivity. And nano gold, nano silver, nano titanium dioxide are such materials are used widely in the different applications method. And carbon nanotube manufacturing process using graphite in an arc oven is another best example for top down approach nanotechnology. In bottom up approach, we start with atoms or molecules and build up to nanostructures. These are fabrication method. It is less expensive only, and it includes miniature of materials of component at atomic level, leading to the formation of nanostructure. During self-assembly, the physical forces operating at nanoscale are combined to use basic units into larger stable structure. In bottom-up approach, the nanotechnology is making larger nanostructure. For example, smaller building blocks such as atoms and molecules. The self-assembly in which is desired a nanostructure or self-assembled without external manipulation method. When the object size is getting smaller in nanofabrication, the bottom-up approach is an increasingly important in top-down technique when compared to top-down technique. In bottom-up approach, it can be found from nature when biological systems have exploited chemical forces to create structure for cells needed for life. Manufacturing of carbon nanotube using metal catalyzed polymerization is a good example for bottom-up approach. The main difference of top-down and bottom-up approach is the manufacturing process starts from larger structure in top-down and where building blocks are smaller than the final design in bottom approach. The bottom-up manufacturing can produce structures with perfect surface area, though surface and edges are resulted by top-down manufacturing are not so perfect. They are wrinkly or containing cavities, that is pores like structure. The third difference is in bottom approach, technology are near to than top down and expected to alternative for some applications like transistor. In bottom approach, higher precision accuracy are needed. The manufacture smaller structures compared to the top-down approach. In top-down approach, there is a certain amount of wasted material as some parts are removed from the original structure, contrast to bottom-up approach where no material part is removed. Synthesis, the chemical precipitation method, and this is a pictorial form of chemical precipitation method. And some examples in the recent research papers. Thank you.